All right, call this meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so then we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Regular board meeting, July 25th. Everybody got a chance to read them? Does anybody have any corrections they'd like to make? Seeing none, then I will entertain a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting, July 25th, 2016. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Then we'll move on to the approval of the general fund vouchers, 73,756 through 73,770, and wire transfers 161,70027 through 161,70046, and activity fund vouchers 2495 through 2507. I will entertain a motion to approve vouchers as listed.
Make the motion.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve the general fund vouchers as listed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And we'll move on to our public comments section. I didn't see anybody signed up, and nobody wants to step forth, so then we'll move on to our spotlight on education, our APA review.
Okay, so just the AP scores came in. This is a program that someone in my position I really want to highlight because it's something that our district does extremely well and has some kids that really perform at a high level. And Nick's going to share just some of those results that we got back from APA scores this year.
I don't know if you're all familiar or not, but to be eligible for college credit for that AP score, you have to have a 3 or higher score. And in our English language arts composition, 8 out of the 8 kids scored 3 or higher, so that all 8 were eligible to get college credit if they so choose. And then in our U.S. history, 2 out of 2 were eligible, so all of those students were eligible. And just some comparison numbers. Our school against Wisconsin, our mean score in English Lit Comp was 3.25, and the mean score for the state was 2.92. And then in U.S. history, our students' mean score was 3.5, and the mean score for the state was 2.88. So they did really well.
Excellent.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you, Nick. Then we'll move on to our old business here, consideration of the bus driver's handbook.
Okay, so I put the bus driver's handbook in there. Not a whole lot of changes. It's a pretty small book, but the changes in there are mostly dates and then the names. We had 2 retires this past year, so we'll be replacing, adding those individual names once those individuals are hired. So not a whole lot of change other than dates.
There's a few misspellings or things that need to be updated too. I made some notes.
Okay.
Laura Anderson's S-E-N,
Sounds good.
like Chris Pearson, S-E-N. It's Laura Anderson. And number 5, radios. People don't have radios anymore. They have
I get
electronic devices.
We call the walkie-talkies the radios, but yeah,
No, I'm talking, but these are like kids with audio devices,
Oh,
electronic devices.
gotcha.
It would be at number 5.
Yep.
Instead of who's got a transistor radio anymore?
Yep. Can add electronic devices
Do the buses have radios on them?
Yeah.
like walkie-talkies
No,
or like FM
no, like
radios.
AM, FM
Yep.
radios.
Anything else?
Talking to a couple of the drivers, they said that do not force students to sit in the stairwell as punishment for misbehavior or by the heater, on the heater. They're not allowed to go in that area anyway, and they don't even have heaters, I guess, where they're supposed to be. There's like
Yeah.
a line It would be
Number
section
6?
6, yeah.
What letter are you on?
A and B. Part of their CDL training is that you're not allowed to have any kids in front of the line. That should be where the
Yep.
window well is. And you can't do that anyway. So
Okay. So take A and B out.
I was just wondering, this September 18th, 2015, is that
Number,
the
yeah.
driver's assignment chart, number 7? Is that like the third week count or whatever they call that? Is that what that date is significant for? So you know how many kids are actually riding the bus and how many are in school? Or
I don't know if that has anything, I'll have to ask Art.
because September 18th, 2015 is wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
The date.
I just had a couple of the bus drivers talk to me, or ex-bus drivers, and I've had a number of them, and they had a few issues that they wanted to probably talk to you about.
Okay.
A lot of it centers on scheduling for extracurricular and field trip kind of things. There's not a very clear system how that's rolled out. And a lot of them feel like they're losing out on opportunities that should have been made available to them.
Just FYI, that was a concern last year too, or prior to you coming here, Josh. So that was just visited prior to you coming with Brad
Okay.
and Art and the drivers.
All right. Was anything changed or
No.
decided? No.
We were
All right.
following up on, yeah.
Okay. I can, I'm planning, the admin team is planning on a meeting with all bus drivers on the 17th of August to go over kind of all the expectations, and I can
Good deal.
certainly open the door for communication on that.
Is this something that we could update and let them look at, and then we could approve it at, like, in the meeting right before school, so they have an opportunity to go through
Yeah.
here?
I think that'd be completely appropriate. This seems like it's fairly dated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll bring it up to the drivers and see if they have any input, and then the admin team as well.
Yeah, there was just, some of those, there was a few concerns and they wanted a little more input into what was going on there. It seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication, and sometimes it was very difficult to get a hold of the Art. It's hard to track down.
Okay, I know one concern that was brought up was a telephone out in the bus garage, which we installed just in the last month. We put one out there
Good.
in case of an emergency, or
Right.
I think that was I know it was a concern that was brought to me.
Right.
So we installed that.
Yeah, and they also had some issues about the fluids and who does what, or how they're supposed to notify. I think that was brought up last year too. The fluids, they're supposed to check all the fluids, but things aren't marked appropriate.
Fluids within the bus or kids?
Yeah, they're supposed to check like all the fluids and like windshield wiper fluid, oil, radiator fluid, all that kind of stuff. They're supposed to check all those things, and they're supposed to apparently let Art know, and he's supposed to take care of it.
Okay.
That's a normal CDL checkoff item for any CDL operator.
Yeah. But there was some concern about being able to find the right container. That they were really low and it wasn't
Who's
done.
responsible?
Yeah.
All that.
So I did some clarification. And so, good.
Okay. Can we table this then, and then I'll bring it back and hopefully
Yeah.
a revised form, and then the board can approve it?
Yep.
Yeah, we could just take no action on it, I guess, and then we'll put it back on.
Great.
All right. Any more discussion on the school bus handbook? All right, then we'll move on to the approval of the 2016-17 fall coaching roster.
Okay, so I've listed the football roster and then the volleyball roster. The only one that's not set is the to be determined, the assistant volleyball coach. Mr. Rosine is working on that. He does have someone that's agreed to do it if we can't find someone. is what has been shared with me, so hopefully we'll have someone in place for that assistant varsity volleyball coaching position. But other than that, all the names are current and what we have going, and seasons are in.
You mentioned you want
Motion.
to back this up to spring for the fall. That seems
Yeah.
to make a lot of sense.
Move it
since
up
it's
a
already
little bit.
going.
Since it's board's approving
Yeah,
on something that's
it's
already
happening.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So then would spring sports be coming up in this fall? Would that be the?
Yeah, that would be my hope. Now, I also, recognize it, like in this situation where you're kind of on in the 11th hour deciding on a coach, but I think I would think you guys would rather have that problem than approving something that really
Yeah.
is kind of pointless to approve since it's already in motion and people are hired already.
Yep.
Sound good? Okay.
Okay, so then I'll entertain a motion to approve the fall coaching roster.
I move to approve the roster.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the 2016-17 fall coaching roster. All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Now we'll move on to the discussion of seclusion restraint.
All right, I missed some.
2015-16.
Miss Rote, we did have actually one incident of seclusion and restraint. It was a restraint issue, or incident. This is a area that I feel like I'm very well versed in, had a lot of experience with the seclusion and restraint, having been special ed and coming into this district, been extremely impressed. We had not to put out names, but had a situation upon my entering this building of a young student that turned into a flight risk and was leaving the building, high cognitive delays, and extremely impressed not only with our special ed staff, but how our reg ed staff and special ed staff and admin all collaborated. We had walkies, and it wasn't uncommon for me to hear a staff member kind of yelling out in communication, and you go out and it's a science teacher, it's a social studies or math. It wasn't always a special ed, and it was just neat to see that it was just the students' best interests were at hand, and it was something that could easily turn into a safety concern. Those parents have reached out to a number of actual other students, one that's looking to open enroll because of how impressed they've been with our staff, and I've been just as impressed. So yeah, it was neat to see. We had one incident. This is something that has to be reviewed by the board legally every year. So one incident in the district, this 2015-16 school year, and during that, it was very well done, well documented, and even the situations where in some situations would have been restraint that I witnessed, our staff did a nice job making sure that it was, we didn't have to restrain the student, and made sure that he was safe, and his integrity wasn't compromised throughout the process. So extremely impressed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's the training protocol for restraints?
So what you can eat, it's up to the district. There's a couple different, we choose to do CPI training. So we have our a crisis prevention intervention. So we have all of our special ed staff CPI trained. I'm CPI trained. We've talked to the admin team. We're all going to be CPI trained. It's not just about restraining. It's about kind of the leading up to process as far as how to make sure that you're not.
Right. I was just really curious to see if you guys
The
did
CPI?
to see CPI.
Okay.
So, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
All right.
and right now, we'll go ahead.
I take it CPI is a good way to go.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. It's a good, there's the district I came from, that's what we use. We're using it here. Now we're just in the process with a new special ed director that hasn't been announced yet. We're kind of waiting to see who ceases, who they're gonna decide on, and how that's gonna affect us in the building, and how we want to get our staff certified. And I've been communicating to the staff, the CPI really is in the best interest of teachers and staff. It keeps you safe and makes sure that you're trained. And it's in the best interest of the students as well.
Okay. Then we'll move on to our new business, discussion of Clear Lake School District mission and core values.
So I just put that on there again because you guys were talking about, what we want to do to kind of promote ourselves or market ourselves, and as a district, we're putting it in our handbooks. We want it kind of at the forefront of every meeting, every decision that we do. It should align with, our core values and our mission statement. And I feel like the meetings and everything that I've been a part of, the focus is like we're moving in the right direction, but I feel like this will kind of tie everything together. So open to ideas from the board as far as, what we want to do with it. It's going to be on the front of the new web page that's going to be coming out. I'm in the process of getting the board policies in a binder for you guys to have here and have access to. So I'm going to put that in the front of our board policies manual. And then any other ideas that you guys had, we're certainly open to.
Well, I think last time we talked about bringing it up at all of our meetings, which we forgot to do. So maybe the next time we do our agenda, we'll put it right after the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll read it off and get it so we can all.
You're gonna put like a plaque in the school somewhere, like when you walk?
Yeah.
Banners or something.
I met with the St. Croix Falls, I think it was St. Croix Falls, Todd Merrick from Sign. I guess he did our athletic signs and some of the signs in the district, one of the signs over at the elementary building. So he gave me a quote on, magnets that we kind of get out there, and then also something that we can either get framed up in the building somewhere or somehow have it, in both of the buildings in multiple places. And then if you guys are good with it, I'd like to put the mission statement at least at the bottom
For sure.
of our agenda from now on.
It'll be presented at the annual meeting coming up here too?
Yep, it'll be presented at the annual meeting. This will be one of the kind of items.
Good deal. Well, I think that it's a heck of a mission statement, and the more visible we make it, the more aware we make our district of it, the more it's going to come true. I had mentioned to you on the phone that maybe we should put signs up on every road that enters our school district. I don't know if that's something that,
A lot to read though when you come into town. You have to pull over.
You could put it on a lot of programs. That would be an easy way to get it out. Christmas program, athletic programs.
Yep.
yeah.
Fridge magnets with a sports schedule on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All good ways to get the word out.
When's the first football game?
This Friday is the first scrimmage, and then next week Friday is the first away game in Cameron.
Are
And
they
then-
putting those
It's a
posters?
sports team that does that, doesn't it?
Posters.
Those big posters we get handed out, the businesses get them.
Mr. Sargent does that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
football team.
We always seem to get them like 3 weeks or like when the season's half done, so be nice to get them.
Are they
sooner.
Do you know what
scheduled?
we're
or
talking
are they-
about?
Yeah, they're schedules. For the
Yeah,
whole-
they're big posters that are like this big and this wide with all the sports
Okay.
schedule for the whole year.
Okay, I can
And they're
ask.
all,
Jeff,
they
that's
put
the
them
one
around
that was in
town.
our office on the wall by the computer. We just took it down, it was last year's, or by the principal.
They have the each team
Oh,
photo and the
yeah, yeah.
schedule.
Okay.
So when, Lori, do you guys get yours?
What do you mean?
The new one?
Jason Sargent is the one that pulls it all together, so it's his gig.
I can ask. Excuse me. I'll ask them where they're at with that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever got one after halfway through the season, so.
But there's lots of places like that you could put it out that
Mhm.
people
Yeah.
look at a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he needs to get on that.
I think it's a fundraiser for football.
Okay.
So I think the telephone company supports it.
Yeah, everyone, all the.
Yeah, all the
but
businesses put
Usually the
money in.
businesses, they go around
Yeah.
and collect money from businesses for advertising. I haven't had anyone come by or even call or anything, so. Have you?
I haven't written the check this year.
No, so,
Okay.
and we're 2 weeks away from
Yeah.
the season, so.
I'll ask.
Okay. Anything more on the mission and core values?
as things come up, feel free to bring it up at the board meeting. I think this is something that, I know as an admin team, we don't want it to just be, kind of the 1-year deal. I mean, we really want to live this through, so if it's a slow process, we're fine with it. I mean, obviously, we're moving kind of quickly on generating ideas and, looking at magnets and signs and stuff for the district, but, as we continue to move forward, if you guys have ideas, like reading it at the beginning of the board meeting, or any ideas for the admin team or staff, or
Isn't the first
We're
PTA
open.
meeting coming up soon too? Maybe something to have somebody, one of us or somebody go to that for the elementary parents.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I sent the newsletter with, just, thanking the community for being a part of it and having input, and then it's going to be part of the high school agendas, the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade agendas, and then also, I just think something like that would be a great idea.
One of us you're talking, Eddie? One of
Or
the board
somebody
members?
go to that. I mean,
I think that's a
I don't
good
often make
idea.
them because I work late, but
What time is that usually?
it's usually supper and then a little thing afterwards. So maybe 6 o'clock, the meeting starts, 6:30.
Do we
It was
know?
in the newsletter that just came out in the mail. Do you
Oh,
know?
when I came from the elementary, so that was probably
Yeah,
about the
Chris.
Thursday I sent,
Yeah.
posted a bunch of stuff.
Chris,
That
no.
was, did that come with all the teacher?
Teacher assignments,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anybody want to go?
We can volunteer Brent, he's missed the last 2 meetings.
What's the date?
I'll
Do we
look,
know?
I'm not sure.
And Eddie, you said it's about it's supper, and that, so it must
It's a
start
s-
about 5:30?
Yeah, it's a supper thing and then kids, the whole families come and then kids go one direction and parents go another direction.
Well,
You can always talk to Mr. Peterson and see how the meetings ran. He'll
And I have it in the
look at-
newsletter, I could send it to
Yeah.
y'all. I have it at home.
if you could, I'd
Yeah.
appreciate that, because it's possible I can make a Thursday night.
Is that something that all the parents of the kids get?
In elementary good.
Can't we just get that be put on the, as board members, shouldn't we be put on the mailing list and we get all that information?
Good, yeah.
I mean, then we'll know it, I mean,
Yeah, he does it once a month, I believe. We get a whole elementary newsletter.
yeah, I
It's
mean, we
great
should
with-
get all that stuff. We should be on the
Yeah, at least
same,
the
we should be on the
newsletter.
same email list with all the parents and everything, so we all are on the same page.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I can scan it and email the whole thing to you tomorrow at work.
Yeah, because if you don't have a kid in the building, you don't really know what's going on.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you guys, the school sends out stuff all the time to teacher, or to parents, right? I mean, you're a parent, and
Right.
send it to us too, put us on the list.
Yep, can do that.
Okay. Well, then we'll move on to the discussion of the board retreat. So we brought that up at the last meeting, and since then I've contacted Guy Levitt, if you remember him. He was the shorter guy. And nice guy. But anyway, he is looking for suggestions on topics. So I was going to poll you guys and see if you guys had any specific things that he wanted to bring to the table. They can, like they did prior, they can curtail their presentation to what we need. And they've also have got programs, so to speak, that they can bring in too. So, do you guys have any ideas? And I can't remember what we talked about for ideas the last time that brought that subject to the forefront, but
I like that guy who came last fall. I know you all went through that, but I thought what he was saying was really good. I mean, he went through it so fast. And I think you guys all might have got handouts from it. I'm not sure if he gave you his PowerPoint.
Was that the roles and responsibilities of a board?
Yeah. And, I mean, it was really different from what,
Bob Butler? Was he the attorney?
it wasn't the attorney. It was just somebody from the WASB.
Well, he's from the WASB.
Yeah, but I don't think it was the attorney.
so.
I could go back and
Could
look
there
at
have
the
been
school
two
board
people
meeting.
here, or just?
you talking about the
one.
thing you and I went to?
No, I thought it was better than the thing we went to.
Oh.
And I was just somebody in the audience listening to it, thinking, oh, wow, that's really good.
What did you talk about specifically? Because I don't think we
Just,
did.
I mean, it was roles and responsibilities somewhat, but it was just more expanded. I can go back, I have a bunch of notes from it. So
Was
I-
that prior to me being here?
Yeah,
Shelley?
oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was probably
Maybe it
Bob
was
Butler.
Bob.
Yeah.
It was a guy.
He was really good.
Yeah.
He's clarified a lot of things.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, he was good.
And, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I remember getting more from that than the training we went to up in Spooner, but I wasn't on the board yet, so I wasn't.
Sure.
Does the district have a strategic plan?
No.
Is that something that the admin team has talked about?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we,
Because that would be another thing to consider as a retreat topic.
yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Big picture and.
It was something that we
long-term.
talked about initially, coming up with like a 3 or 5 year kind of deal plan.
Maybe doing a SWOT analysis and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Talking to Guy, one thing that he called me too, and when I talked to him, I just said, it'd be nice to have. I said I'm not exactly sure where the board is at and what they'd like to see, but it would be nice to have, kind of the basic board governance and kind of going over some of that stuff. I said even for myself in my role, I think it'd be nice to
It's a good review.
keep reviewing those type of things and bringing them up, and just so we're all on the same page. You guys had talked. I remember when I first came, I had mentioned this to Guy when I was on the phone. I said, I know when I first came, they had talked about kind of roles and responsibilities within their own, role on the board, and then what like common norms, expectations. I think some of that might have stemmed from, the meeting with Al and leading up to to me coming into the district. But I said I think that's healthy too.
One of the things that came to my mind was, now that we've got a new mission and core value statements, is cultivating that idea and seeing what we can do with it. What are other people doing with theirs? So we can.
And sort of, the idea of a strategic plan is to, how do you live that mission then? What are the goals and what's the
Right.
long-term and short-term around that? I think we've started this process and it's a really good piece to be doing. Let's, like you said, Josh, let's not let it die, and let's make sure that it fits all of what's going on.
Yeah.
It's kind of a changing world out there right now, just even locally, and sort of where other districts are and what's going on, and
Yep.
start to talk about what does that mean for Clear Lake.
Like what you told me the other
Clayton
day.
can't field a football
Right.
team, so
Yeah.
what does that mean for them?
Right.
What happened?
When you had mentioned
Who doesn't?
Clayton.
Clayton doesn't have a football team?
your company's looking in the
Wow.
future and what's going to happen to
Right, our
this area.
projections for what's gonna happen to this area when the bridge gets done
Yeah.
next year is pretty huge. They're not saying that city folks are gonna move out, cause it's still too far for them to travel, but New Richmond and Somerset folks are gonna move out because that's gonna become too populated and they're gonna want country. So we're gonna get those folks moving here in the numbers
yeah.
because the city people are gonna come to their towns.
So to keep those city folk out of
Gotta
here.
keep them out. So, but really, 1 year and that bridge is gonna be up, and we're already,
Yeah.
Excel and power companies and everything are starting to look at what that means.
Yeah, and we don't have anything on paper, but as an admin team, we've talked a lot, and I've said, we have to move towards implementing some technology stuff, and which is the new website we're doing, and the Gmail that's going to be rolling out here very shortly, and getting our kids, the students, just having access to it, I think is key. Because what's going on in the classrooms is great stuff. It really is. Our teachers are strong teachers, and I've made it clear to the teachers we're not looking to impose anything, but just to provide options to enhance teaching. Because I think technology, sometimes people have a warped view of it as replacing curriculum, and it really shouldn't. It really should enhance it. So that's part of our strategic plan. But I think it'd be good and healthy for the admin team to get something on paper and even bring some staff member in on it and talk about where we want to go. So we can begin working on that as well.
Any other ideas on subject matter for the retreat? Okay, if you have something, feel free to give me a call here in the next period of time. The next thing I need to do is find a date that works. So by doing that, I think the best thing to do would be ask people what nights don't work out of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Unless we wanted to have it the same night as our board meeting, but I don't really think we would want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that, but.
We did it last time.
Mhm.
We're here.
So, any nights don't work for anybody on Tuesday, Wednesdays, or Thursdays? So Wednesdays are out then.
Tuesday and Wednesday don't work for me.
Okay.
So.
Any for you, Dave?
I never know. They're all open for right now.
Okay, then I'll try and get a Thursday locked up with
As long as it's not a
Guy.
Packer game.
Yeah. How,
Check the Thursday night schedule.
how soon do you guys want to do this? Because he has dates that are relatively close that are open.
September, I was planning on going to I think it's our meetings in Rice Lake, is that right?
Yeah,
I
the
can't-
one at Layman Supper Club
Yeah.
or something like that.
So
I'd like to
don't
to
go that week. There's a meeting in Layman's and, yeah,
You don't happen to know when that is, Mary, do you?
I can email it tomorrow too.
Yeah, I've got, it should be, you should get it on your WASB thing.
Yeah.
They send it like once a week or.
Mhm.
I got it in a little mail thing too.
Yeah, I just noticed I didn't,
19th,
is it, yeah.
18th, 19th, some
I think you're right,
teens.
yeah.
19th is the Monday.
It was a Monday or Tuesday.
September, right? You're talking?
Yeah. No, it was a Wednesday.
14th.
Gosh.
I'm gonna have it on here.
Anybody get their emails here on their phones?
Well, I'll come up with some Thursdays and send them out, and you guys can check your calendars and then get back to me on that.
Sounds good.
And then we can find a date. And up until that point, we'll still be working on the subject matter, so if you guys have any ideas or anything, roll them out and we'll put it on the agenda. Okay, anything else on the board retreat? So then we'll move on to our superintendent, Joshua R. Ernst, notes.
Don't have much for you guys this week. Fall sports are starting, and that's about it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the first scrimmage with the football team on Friday. So I'm bringing the little Ernst kiddos will be joining me on that one, so that we have one. I have to order some Clear Lake apparel for them because we got one shirt and they're all fighting over it. So we don't get it gets worn 3 times before it gets washed, so it gets passed down.
Is that scrimmage here?
Yeah, here, yep.
At what time?
Starts at 4?
4 to
Is that
6.
4 to 6. And then,
JV's at 3. Yeah, JV starts at 3.
It'll be Spring Valley, Glenwood City, Turtle Lake,
Boyceville?
Boyceville.
Yeah, Boyceville.
Yep. So yeah, we're varsity scheduled to Spring Valley and Glenwood.
we have some good numbers.
Yeah, really good.
A lot of bodies out there, so it's good, and big bodies, which,
I think we counted that before. So
Yeah.
Lower 50s.
Yeah, good numbers.
yeah.
Yeah, those are good numbers.
That's how you build programs.
Yeah, and the volleyball team is strong as well, so fall sports should be representing.
Nice.
Yep, other than that, it's, the annual meeting is pretty well set to go, and take the next couple days off for vacation. School shopping with the kids, so.
Yeah.
Probably would be bad to get that annual meeting date like out on the Facebook page or something, so people can just mark it now, instead of just being surprised, oh, it's Monday.
Okay.
Just give them a little time to have it on there, to
Sure.
take priority.
Yeah, see if we can get some people there.
What region are we in for the WSBA? Is it 1 or 2?
I assumed it was 1, because wasn't that what Rice Lake was? I didn't know either, but
Yeah, I was
Rice Lake was the
wondering that,
closest
too.
meeting.
Okay, well, any other discussion on the superintendent notes? Then we'll move on to our future agenda items. Does anybody have anything that we'd like to put on our agenda? Okay, well, if anything does come up, just give me a call or give Josh a call, and we'll get it on the agenda. So then the next item of business is our contemplated closed session. So I thank you guys all for coming in tonight again. So then in accordance with 2 WSS 19.851, paragraph 1C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. We will be talking about employment and compensation of a staff member. And I don't think it's going to take very long, Nettie.
I'm fine, I can just put them out in the hall.
Yeah.
Just
I
turn
don't-
the lights on the
Well,
computer lab across the
We
hall.
were
Oh,
gonna bring
wonderful.
That works?
Brent up to speed, and he's
Guys want
not
the
here,
computer
so I
back?
mean, we might as well not even talk.
Did we
about
have
it.
I had one other thing.
Yeah,
on-
Josh has something he wants to.
Speaking of that, while there's anyone reach out to Brent?
I talked to him after the last meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Just busy.
Yeah, well, he travels a lot, yeah.
But he's missed 3 or 4 meetings already this year, so. Region 2 meeting has been rescheduled.
Nice.
Norwood, Pines, and we're not that region, are
No,
we?
it's my neck of the woods up
So
there.
then I'll pull the board. Nettie?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Brent? Yes?
Peter?
Oh, Peter. Peter?
I'll say yes.
David?
I can say yes for Brent if you want me to.
We are in closed session. All right. We are in open session. I'll entertain a motion to,
No, wait for Lori, so she gets it.
oh, yeah.
Does that make me noisy?
I'll entertain a motion to reimburse Nick for his unused sick days.
I approve it.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
It's been properly moved and seconded to pay Nick for his unused sick days. And thanks for not being sick, Nick. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Now I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned.